Okay, so this is my presentation on the hip hop and the culture on hip hop. So, what is it? Really, it just can be described as one of the most far-reaching cultural movements of the past 3 decades. Critics describe it as a hot mess, a roar of total chaos. Um, and what I mean by like total chaos is that you know, it really brings out a lot. Like it speaks a lot of honesty, it speaks a lot of truth, and it's real from the artists who can like reach out with it. So that's why whenever it comes down to like all the different forms of how can be expressed, it's just like a wide variety of like what it could be and everything that you know everything can correlate back to the same thing, and there it'll all be a part of the same community. It's a little more like on the culture part. Um, is like it's unplanned, like an unplanned type of thing. Just kind of things just kind of happen. They flow together well, and but it reflects truth shared. And it also reflects more of the idea of telling the truth than us on telling it. Um, it wants honesty. It wants everyone to like be like smart about everything. And they try and like their extend their beliefs, extend like what they think the world should be like, and how everything should be going. And I think that's like one of the, especially like with artists when it comes to music, by explaining the point of view, like say like the whole thing back in May, with like the racism stuff. Like they want to get that idea out there that oh, the truth to be should be told, the truth should like be known. But it emphasizes more of I gotta, people should be honest. People should be honest with themselves, with each other, and they need to like grow with that. So significant culture personalized. This is like kind of from the interview, which was on the website. It's like a strong form of expression, overplaying mainstream pop culture norms. It's also an expression of frustration in a culture around around racism, and really speaks and injustices. So like being different than than overplaying pop culture norms. It's more of like I said before, it's like an expression. Um, and obviously it says on that same line. Um, but they don't rely on in the article it said they didn't rely on MTV to get them like a big hit. Like it's somebody small and then making it, to the top because they went out of their way to not be a part of that pop culture norm, and they wanted to, become their own. But the expression of frustration, like I said before, can relate back to the thing in May where this a lot of like social issues, social injustices, with many colored people, um, but especially like around the Black community. Like it even emphasized that in the article, but it really expresses like frustrations, and like in certain music you can hear that like all the things that they had to go through and all the things that they you know express with their music. It's a lot. So the art side, it's very poetic, and obviously if you listen to it, there's lines rhyme with each other and everything. It can have a deeper meaning than even like the song, if the song is deep itself. So like in the article it said like it can be way more than just a love song, or way deeper than just a love song. Like you know, say this love song, it's about like love completely, but like maybe it's telling them how the relationship went or how it fell apart. Yeah, the meanings of a certain line in music can also influence outside resources. So say you get like you shout out somebody, or shout out like a product, they could benefit from that. They could get um, just like a huge increase in like their sales and from their products and everything. So it can be beneficial to you know both people. Each song also bears like a product, which bears an idea, which bears a cultural link, and that link inspires that idea, which can kind of link back to the second point. Um, you know, you when you bring out a song, it has like a certain meaning, a certain purpose behind it, um, and that could take a part in culture, and that inspires a lot of things to happen. And when it comes to other forms of art, it can inspire graffiti. It can inspire dancing. Dancing is a big one, especially going along with music. And art like drawing, and people draw like their favorite artists, or just kind of it's fan stuff. Um, and poetry. Poetry is very, very key. So even like certain people in music, they reference other lines that other artists have said because it's inspiring to them. So each idea is just interconnected in its own chain. And the language authenticity is always stays the same. So really like um, if you're a part of a certain community, you speak on that. Language is more like how people want to express themselves, how they speak in the song. But yeah, so and like any culture you're from and you speak on that, you want people to figure that out, like, oh, what's this like? What's the like doing that? That's kind of like that's what it's for. But poetry, like in the other few slides, it's a very, very key factor. Um, and as long as it's kind of in the same community, as it should be good. It's like really, really key for that to be a big part of the industry. But yeah, that's it.